Welcome to the Owl Arcade. In this video, I'm going to take you on an adventure to collect an original, full-size, upright Bally Midway Galaga arcade machine. This is the first video I've made about my arcade machine hobby, so I figured we'd take a very back-to-basics approach and cover some of the fundamentals. So this is primarily a collection video, and I'll be talking you through loading up the truck, what we take with us for the collection and why, a little bit how I found the machine and what to expect based on the seller's description. We'll be getting it home and unloading it. We'll be looking it over to see how much of a project we just landed ourselves, and we'll even see if it will fire right up and play, fingers crossed. I'll maybe talk more about the game in a subsequent video, and although running Galaga, this is not the machine we're collecting, of course. This is my Unigame Jammer Cab, my first arcade machine. This was manufactured in the UK, and it's running Galaga on emulator using a Raspberry Pi and PIN-HP. Galaga is a vertical game. This is a horizontal CRT. The image doesn't fit properly. We're missing the spaceship at the bottom. I haven't got time to mess with it. And what I really want to do is play the real thing. Real hardware in an original machine like it's supposed to be played. So that said, if you're up for joining us on this Galaga adventure, hit like and subscribe, as going into this machine, I fully expect we'll be recording a whole series of future videos fixing up the cabinet and fixing up the electronics. Let's head outside. So we're heading up to
South
Bend, Indiana. It's a beautiful Indiana morning. We'll be borrowing the Owl Motorworks truck, and I'm going to show you what I do, what equipment I take to put on the bed of this truck, Ram 1500. Let's get this truck loaded up. Starting with the basics, we'll drop the tailgate. First item out of the garage is the appliance dolly. This one's a basic 800-pound model. You can pick these up for around 80 bucks from your local hardware store, and they are absolutely essential for moving arcade machines around. You've got to have one. That said, I don't think Steve is ever getting this one back. Sorry, buddy. Next up is the canvas drop cloth. Mine's 12 by 15 feet, and while you don't really need one that big, I do personally like it because you can fold it over to fit the truck bed, and that makes it nice and thick, giving some extra protection to the arcade machine, especially with that rough surface of the bed liner, which, if you are wondering, mine is Cambridge blue. The layers also help to slide the machine onto and off the bed, so there's another bonus. That size runs about 40 bucks. Aha! A bag of ratchet straps. Notwithstanding, I keep that bag of straps in the truck at all times. But you really only need one or two for an arcade machine. Of course, they're pretty heavy and don't tend to move all that much, but what you don't want is that thing sliding backwards away from the bulkhead of the truck bed and then slamming into it in the event we need to drop the anchors on the interstate. So next we'll get everything situated and strapped down. I don't like leaving unsecured objects in the bed of the truck, safety first and all that. I'm going to use the dolly to hold down the drop cloth. I suppose we could just throw it in the cab, that's really down to personal preference. I was actually forgetting here that I don't normally strap the dolly over the top on the left side there, because it tends to make it want to pivot around the handle a little bit, which is right in the middle of the dolly. I realised my mistake and ended up rerouting the strap just over those two central ribs, nice and secure. We'll collect up and secure the excess using a little trick I learned from the internet, where you kind of ravel it up, pass it around itself a couple times, tying a knot, and then you twist it, and that tightens it down, and that's not going anywhere. Let's talk about that trip hazard right there. This is a truck bed extender. This one's an official Ram accessory, but there are a few options out there from under $200 to over $300. Galaga is just under 69 inches at its tallest point, and my bed length is 67.4 according to the official specs, meaning that the tailgate will not shut with the machine on the bed. So I can flip that extender out the other way with the tailgate down and have plenty of extra bed length for the machine. So last but not least, we have a reel of stretch wrap. You'll find this plastic wrap in the moving section of the hardware store. This one is 20 inches wide and there's 1,000 feet of it. This will run you about 30 bucks. I always wrap my machines fully with a good few winds of this stuff because one, I live in the Midwest and it could rain at any moment, and two, it really helps protect the machine from the elements and keep it all together during transportation. So we are all set, let's hit the road. Here we are about, 30 minutes into the journey. We're heading north, up the 31, through some beautiful Indiana countryside. It's very flat. That's cool. Got my beautiful wife Shona behind the camera, my co-pilot for today. Hi. She's the muscle. Gonna help get it loaded and unloaded on the other side. Talk a little bit about the machine. So I found it on Facebook Marketplace, which is where I find most of the machines that I've collected so far. The seller says that it is not working, which is again how I normally get my machines, so I can save some money and learn something new when trying to fix them. So this one is non-functional. They said it was working, but then they moved and now it is not working. They also said that they have previously fixed it by replacing the board set. So this is actually a machine and two board sets apparently. So we're going to take a quick look at it. We're not going to start trying to diagnose it or try and fix it or anything like that there. That's not what we're doing. We're just there to do the transaction. We're going to pick it up, throw it in the truck and take it back. And once we get it back home, we will take a good look at it when we are back home. So yeah, we're going to settle in for the rest of the journey. Got some snacks, got some water, had our breakfast already on the go. So we'll be back a little bit later on with some updates on the machine itself once we've taken a look at it. All right, so we're about halfway through the journey home. We've obviously got the Galaga loaded. We've just stopped by a semi-famous coffee chain for a quick break and a refreshment. I've got some thoughts that I want to share on this after we've been driving for a little bit here. I had a chance to look this over on the underside, and yeah, it's going to need a lot of work. It's going to need some work. It still feels a little bit damp actually, but it's clearly had some water issues. The underside, you'll probably just be able to see down here. Yeah, this is all pretty much, the underside's collapsed up. You can see I can move it. Yeah, so that's not so good. But you know, everything's salvageable. We will take a look at this in more detail when we get back.
2 hours later.
Been home a few minutes now. When we got back, I took the plastic off of the underside. Since it's nice and sunny out, it's like 75 degrees here maybe. So I took the plastic off so that I could get a little bit of sun to it, hopefully dry this out a little. And I can already feel that it's much better. It's obviously in not great, it's not in great shape there at all. Not in good shape at all. That's going to need some serious, I think that needs that entire bottom section replaced. It's also got some damage up the sides here. You can see this extends up about a foot before it reaches the sort of tide mark there. I don't know if you can see in the light, but it is, this has seen some serious waterage going on here. This is a bit of a shame because this is quite a bit more work than I was expecting this cabinet would need. They've clearly known about it as well, or whoever did this has known that it needed shoring up. It's got some screw holes and nail holes. They've obviously tried to strengthen the cabinet a little bit. The back panel did not fit. And it's because this bottom section has collapsed all down here. So it was effectively the kind of chassis dropped over around the bottom panel, and it decreased the gap that the back panel had, so it didn't fit properly. The owner that I bought it from just now had to kind of screw the back panel in there, so we are going to take a look at that as well. Up top it actually looks pretty good. You can't see much right now, but we will be able to see that in a second once I pull it off the truck. I'm just going to leave it for a few more minutes there, sat in the sun, soaking up some rays to dry it out as much as possible. I could see that it was wet in there, it was moist in there, even with the sun on the drive back. It was giving off some water vapor. I could see some little spots underneath the plastic wrap, so it was doing a pretty good job drying out on the drive back. So that's a good thing. I'll get it off the truck. I'll show you how we do that. I didn't get any loading video, but I'll get some unloading video. Okay, lovely wife Shona, she's the muscle. She's going to help me get this bad boy off the back of the truck. We're going to start just by taking the fence off. Get that out of the way. And then of course see if I can undo the bundle of excess line on this ratchet strap. Okay, so as I said earlier, I did not make a video of getting this bad boy on the truck, mainly just because it kind of feels awkward when you're at someone else's place. It's a little bit weird. So it's basically the same in reverse. I put the sheet on there underneath to help it slide, and it also protects the bed a little bit from the nails and whatnot that are sticking out the back of this thing. So Shona's going to grab that side, I'm going to grab this side, and we're going to see if we can't pull it forwards. That's it.
How far do you want it?
So how far do we want it? Great question. We want it just so it's at a natural tipping point where we're going to let gravity work with us here. It was kind of the same getting it up the other way. You sit it about a foot in front of the truck, kind of lean it over, and then up and in she goes. It's kind of easy, and slide it back on the sheet. So yeah, we're going to pull it out until she wants to start to tip by herself, just support the weight, and then we'll bring her down gently. So let's pull her out a little bit further. That's it, keep pulling that sheet. All right, okay, so that's about right. It wants to kind of turn down by itself now. So have you got that side? Mm-hmm. So you want to put a hand underneath here, and then kind of a hand at the front, and it's going to want to come down by itself. Just going to try and support it all the way down on the back corner. There you go. And then stand her up on that gnarly base. Skills. Since we're here, let's take this plastic wrap off. And this is where you'll get the first look of the cabinet itself after I've made myself dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably speed this bit up just for comedy value. All right, we'll just push this out a little bit so that we can get all the way around for a quick look. All right, there it is. So yeah, not looking too shabby on the front, up top. Marquee in pretty good order. Obviously we've got an aftermarket part fitted there. We will probably remove that. The CPO, not in terrible shape. Obviously a little bit cracked and worn through on this corner edge, which is where they tend to go. They get embrittled over the years and start to snap and fall away. Dusty, got some dust in there. I think that's on the underside, so we'll obviously take that out and give it a good clean. Scuffed up a little bit down here. It's seen better days, but you know, haven't we all? But you'll see some of the damage around the corner here, so if I can try and avoid falling over in the garage, yeah, you know, it's Boy, this back looks a little bit ropey. Certainly down the bottom here, which we all kind of expected. So that's going to need some pretty significant remedial work down there, I think. We're going to take the back off. I'm a little bit scared what I'm going to find in here. But we're going to do it. As you can maybe see, this back panel's sitting way too high, so it doesn't actually fit in the recess because this is all kind of collapsed at the back here and has shortened the gap. So we do have, as I keep saying, we've got quite a bit of work to do on this. Let's just pop these two screws out. I think it's just the two. Oh no, there's another couple on there. Now this back panel's going to need some repair now as well. Actually, I only just thought, where on earth's the power cord?
NANI?
Maybe it's inside. We're about to find out, I think. Are we loose now? Yeah, we are. The big reveal. Well, we've got spiders, that's for sure. Let's take you over and have a look. Okay. Well, we've got a monitor complete with chassis, so that's definitely a bonus. Power supply is being replaced by the look of things. We're obviously going to have to pull all of that out. Well, there's that power cable. Because we need to fix that kind of stuff. There's the evidence of the water damage. Yeah, this bottom panel's absolutely hosed, which is a real shame. Okay, so no game board in here. We do have connectors, which is all good. We'll need those. So that will be the two. Well, I've got two game cards, game sets, game boards. Board sets. That's the kitty. In the house, and we'll go and look at those in a bit and see if there's anything visually obvious with those. We've even got the original paperwork instructions for the dip switches here, so that's pretty cool. So we're plugged in. We're going to see if we get anything on the monitor. So we've got a switch up there, and then presumably, there we go. All right, lockout. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't know if my mic picked that up, but we've got sparkles. Let's have a look around the front. That's cool. So I guess at least that was working. As the seller said, it was working before they moved. So maybe, oh, now I'm excited. Should we put the board set in there? Should we? Should we grab one of those board sets? Yeah, of course we should. I've picked the best spot for this, of course, which is down here on the garage floor with all this clean space we've got here. I'm just being impatient. Here's a board set. This came from Wayne Lanning in Chester Springs. Mr. Lanning, if you're out there, thank you for the board set. So I'm assuming this is a replacement that didn't fix whatever was going on with the cabinet. It's a little bit bendy and filthy, so that's not going to help matters all that much. Oh no, it's not in bad condition really. Okay, alright, well there's that one. We know we got that one. What's in here? This is board set number 2. And it says, okay. But maybe not, I guess. Otherwise, it would have been in the machine. So, probably not okay. Yeah, it's kind of filthy dirty like the other one. It's not set on this post properly. That post is broken. Hopefully, it's maybe just a dirty connector or something was jostled loose at some point and we just need to wiggle it just right. Give it that special wiggle. So the first board is in. I had to pause for a second to figure out which way round that connector, the edge connector, went on the board. There is actually a small section. I can maybe show you on this board over here actually. There's a small section without any contacts connected anywhere on the board. That's this section here. You can probably just see that. There's no traces. So there's a corresponding section on the edge connector that allowed me to figure that one out. So that was pretty straightforwards. It is connected as far as I can tell. Everything seems to be where it's supposed to be. Well, with the exception of that, which seems to be our video connector, since that goes up to where have we gone? Goes up to the chassis up there. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just witnessed is this ham-fisted idiot accidentally stopping the video. Needless to say, this first board set did not work, did nothing. So we're just going to move straight on to board set number 2. Ta-da! Board switched out. It's magic. What do you reckon? Should we give it a go? Top switch on. Ooh. We definitely have some noise that we did not have last time. We also have some screen corruption, which is interesting. Let's just reseat that connector. Edge connector reseated, so let's just give that another go. That's different. Now we've got, it seems to be upside down. That's interesting. RAM 1H warning. So maybe we've got a RAM chip problem with this one. Huh. That's interesting, but why is it upside down? Got the yoke connections the wrong way around. Maybe. All right, third time's the charm. We're going to reseat the connector again and see if we can't get a winner. So let's try it. Edge connector reseated. Once, twice, 3 times the charm. A little bit of an audio pop there. We have, well, it's worse than last time. Last time we actually had, obviously moving in the wrong direction, but we kind of had the sort of star field that you get on Galaga running in the wrong direction. What do we do at this stage? Do we want to grab some isopropyl alcohol and an eraser? Do we? Sure, why not? Okay, we're ready with our tools. I said isopropyl alcohol earlier because I thought I'd run out of electronic cleaner. I was just going to give it a quick brushing over, but there's a little bit left in here. We're going to make do with that. A lot of people go with like deoxit. I've got nothing against that. I tend to like the QD electronic cleaner. Seems to work well for my purposes. I'm going to squirt some of this in the edge connector. Just blast it all in there. Just for giggles, the video connector and the other power connector that goes to the board as well, which I believe is the amp connector, but I haven't really done my research on this. I'm just taking a guess on that. The pink eraser. So this is just a pink pencil eraser. You take this to the contacts and give them a little bit of a scrub and tidy those up. I may have to take these boards apart to get to the other side, or I can maybe just fit under there, but I'll have to do that two-handed. So I will pop the camera down for now and go over each one of these until they are semi-clean, and then just give them a quick blast off with the electronic cleaner to make sure there's no residue on there. And we will fit the board set back in the machine and we will give it one final go. So fingers crossed. I will also, just while we're here, pop this ribbon cable off and clean in there with the electronics cleaner. I know it's probably not been disassembled for a little while, but and it's difficult to do this one-handed, but I'll try. We're going to pull this out. Come on, there we go. And then squirt the electronics cleaner in all of those female connection points there, and also just give a quick blast in there, and I'll do the other side as well. That'll just pull out as well. I'll pull this off, put it to one side so I know which orientation it goes back. Not that it really matters, because it's pin to pin, and it's not keyed. So, but I'll do it anyway. So yeah, just some electronics cleaner in here. I'm going to have to get a better angle on that to actually get what's left in the can here out and into those holes. So I'll do that off camera. We have our board back in. The edge, that ribbon cable is on the bottom side there. As I had it oriented on the tailgate on the truck there, that top connector actually came out really easily. The bottom one did not. So hoping we haven't got a loose connection there. But cleaned it up and put it back together. Had to fight the spider silk a little bit to not get any kind of stuck between the connections here as I was putting the board back in. But we are back in and we are ready to go. So I can't remember whether I turned that one off at the top there. We'll find out. Should we give it a go? 3, 2, 1. It's on. And what's appearing? Is anything appearing? We've got some corruption. We've got quite a lot of corruption. So yeah, I was kind of hoping we would get the star field again, albeit going in the wrong direction, but we did not get the star field, which is a bit disappointing. Let's give that one more go. Just one more try. This is the last try. And yeah, we've got the same corruption that we had before. So first and foremost, I think the board needs a good old clean. We are not getting the same errors that we got before, so we will definitely have to clean that board up some. I think this board's certainly showing the most promise here, at least in terms of actually getting something out onto the CRT. So we'll run with that for now. Real shame about the condition of the cabinet again, and the more I look at this, when I'm finding issues like this, the more I look at this, the more I think this cabinet needs to come apart fully. It has gaps where we don't want gaps. This is still on. Let me turn that off. It's not flush. We shouldn't have a gap here. We should not have a gap up here. We've got a 1/4 inch gap all the way up the side there. So this cabinet is not fully together in any way, shape or form. The wedge pieces down the bottom there, you can't get it to focus down there, but those wedge pieces you can see are not even touching the side. So again, sadly, the more I look at this, the more I think, you know what? It would just be easier if it all came apart and then we could address each piece by piece, replace what needs replacing, and throw it all back together and have a nice solid cabinet to work from. Pull all of the insides out, get them onto a bench, and get it all working on the bench, so that we can then just throw it back into the cabinet once the cabinet's all refurbished and looking nice. Well folks, that is a wrap on our first video of the Galaga arcade machine. We went, we saw, we collected, we brought it home, we had a little play with it. Unfortunately, we do not have a functional machine at this time, although there are some good signs. The CRT seems to work. Not sure exactly until we get the pattern generator on there what exactly the condition of the CRT is, but it's giving a picture, and I am encouraged by the one board that we tested there that shows some signs of life, so maybe just a little bit of troubleshooting. The biggest problem is going to be this cabinet. I've not taken on a project cabinet like this yet. This is a big one. This is going to be a challenge, but get this thing up and running we will. It's going to take a little bit of effort, but we're going to get it done. So that's all for now. Love you, bye.